Picture this. What if you could build a billion-dollar empire from something giant corporations literally threw in the trash? Well, that's not some crazy hypothetical. It's the incredible true story of Sam Zemurray, the original Banana King.
I mean, just imagine this. He shows up in America at just 14 years old. He's got nothing, no money, doesn't even speak the language.
But here's the thing about Sam. He had this superpower. He could see opportunities hiding in plain sight, things that the biggest companies in the world were completely blind to.
And that unbelievable skill, that's what allowed him to literally take their garbage and spin it into a fortune. This is, without a doubt, one of the most audacious business stories of the 20th century.
Okay, so let's dive in. To really get what made this guy tick, you've got to go right back to the beginning. You have to understand the sheer desperation that was fueling his ambition.
So, Sam was born into a poor family in Russia, and things got really tough when his dad passed away. I mean, we're talking about a daily struggle just to survive. So what does he do? At just 14 years old, he makes this unbelievable choice to leave his mom, leave everything he knows, and get on a boat to America, all by himself.
And for the next 2 years, he was relentless. Cleaning floors, running deliveries, he did whatever it took to make a buck. But more importantly, the whole time, his eyes and ears were wide open. He was like a sponge, just soaking up every detail of how money really moved and how business actually operated.
All right, so that brings us to 1893. We're at the busy shipping docks in Mobile, Alabama. After all that watching and learning, this is it. This is the moment where opportunity and preparation collide, and Sam's life changes forever.
Now you have to remember, back in the 1890s, bananas were still kind of exotic in America, a real novelty. And the entire market, the whole shebang, was controlled by one company, one massive, powerful corporation called the United Fruit Company. They were the undisputed kings. So Sam's down at the docks, and he's just watching how they work. He sees their whole system. You've got the perfect green bananas. Those get shipped all over the country. Then you have the ones that are a little yellow. They sell those off cheap to local guys. And then there was this other pile.
The ripe ones, the ones with the spots. Now they were perfectly delicious, ready to eat right then and there, but they wouldn't last on a long train ride. So what did United Fruit do? They just threw them out. A staggering 15% of every single shipment was just tossed out like trash. But when Sam looked at that pile, he didn't see waste. He saw an opening.
And this, right here, is where the story gets absolutely incredible. Sam decides to bet everything he has on that so-called trash. It was a massive gamble against a ticking clock.
He took his entire life savings, $50, money he had scraped together from 2 years of back-breaking work, and he offered to buy the ripe bananas that United Fruit was literally about to dump. For them, it was a joke, free money. But for Sam, it was his whole world.
His plan seems simple enough, right? Load the bananas on a train and sell them in the next few towns. But reality, well, it hit hard. The train was painfully slow, stopping for hours at a time. And with every single delay, his entire investment was literally rotting away right before his eyes.
So he's stuck. He's on this slow-moving train, watching his life savings turn to brown mush. It was a completely desperate moment. He knew he couldn't wait until the final stop. So what do you do? What on earth could he possibly do?
In a moment of pure genius, he figures it out. Every time the train stopped, he'd sprint to the telegraph office and wire a message to merchants in the next town down the line. He'd tell them a shipment of cheap, delicious bananas was on its way. So, by the time his train finally pulled in, a crowd of buyers was already waiting right there on the platform.
Now, this brilliant strategy didn't just save his investment, it became his system, a very profitable system. And it wasn't long before his success caught the attention of the giant whose trash he was selling, the United Fruit Company.
Within just a few years, Sam wasn't some small-time hustler anymore. He was a major player. He was systematically buying up all the ripe fruit and saturating the market. And it was starting to really eat into United Fruit's profits on their expensive premium bananas.
The giant did not like that one bit. They responded by trying to squeeze him out of business. They'd intentionally delay his shipments, they'd cut his supply in half, and they even started dumping their own ripe fruit on the market for next to nothing just to crush his prices. They were trying to bankrupt the kid who had outsmarted them.
And that's when Sam had a huge realization. As long as he depended on United Fruit for his supply,
He would always be at their mercy. To truly win, he couldn't just play their game anymore. He had to become the system itself. He decided he was going to import his own bananas, build his own supply chain from the ground up. But of course, the banks refused to lend him the massive amount of money he needed. So, in a move of unbelievable guts, he borrowed money from loan sharks at 50% interest just to get full control of his company.
And the result of that insane gamble? He formed the Cayamel Fruit Company. And he was now the 90% owner, the undisputed boss. He had bet everything to become his own supplier and a direct competitor to the most powerful fruit company on the planet.
This bold move completely transformed Sam from just a clever trader into a budding tycoon. But it also put him on a path where the stakes were no longer just about business, they were about to become geopolitical.
He risked it all. Not just the money he had, but money he borrowed at rates that would absolutely ruin most people. All on the belief that he could build something bigger. This was the decision that would either forge an empire or completely destroy him.
Because now, with his own ships and his own plantations in Central America, Sam wasn't really